hard for Qbert Academy and Qbert Academy fans after the very first map. Their own map pick didn't go their way. We highlighted this as a strong pool for Envy, but once we get to Haven, Qbert Academy go back to comfort, and it proves to be everything, taking us now to a map 3 with a 13-9 victory. I mean, Dan, we had highlighted the composition that they were going to go with, or that they could potentially go with, and I was a little surprised to see them default to something that they tried way back, but pays off gold.
Yeah, Qbert Academy, they go with that standard composition in Haven, and it works out really, really well for them. I think this is what they needed, right? When you're trying too many things, when you've been switching up the compositions on this map of Haven before, you just need to go back to the standards, Redux on the Jet, and everything that we saw from them was simply working out, especially towards that second half. It seems like getting the read on, which is one of the conversations that we had, right? Getting the read onto this team of Envy gets easier and easier the more reps that they have, the more matches that they play, the more maps of Haven that they played as well, in a composition that we've been seeing since last year. So it was nice to see that Qbert Academy was adapting on the fly. It was also an insane performance from T-Dog as well, getting so many of the first kills, so many of those openings, and figuring it out as the second half went, because for a second, I thought it was going to be a 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, we all did. We literally all thought this was going to be a 2-0. We're all leaning so heavily. This was an undefeated map for rankers or Envy. But I think that you hit something right on. You were mentioning about the adaptations, right? It really did feel like Qbert had a read on how Envy plays their defense side, specifically with the fast falls. They had a lot of answers to that, but specifically for the proactivity and the re-clears. They would just take map control and they would just sit and wait. And eventually Envy was so proactive, they just kept constantly walking into these traps and these setups, and it felt like Qbert didn't even really need to try that hard for the win. They just had to outweigh Envy.
And it was cool because it was not just the holding towards mid, as we saw we were talking about in one of those rounds right towards the end. It's not just holding mid, it's not just winning, but also in this last round specifically, we see the change of pace as well. So they're bringing a good amount of variety into this attacking side. Okay, sometimes we're just gonna wait for Envy because they're being peeking garage every single time, and other times you're gonna do a fast A, T-Dog is gonna get 2, and that way they're gonna close it out. It constantly leaving Envy wondering what is gonna happen next.
And looking at Envy with the 13 first kills, but not able to quite convert off of them, and looking at the player performances, when we were eyeing up a couple of these players from Envy to really put pressure on, we did get to see the first kills go their way, specifically too, when you are looking at somebody like Zera, but it just wasn't quite in the cards, and it was a really good job, well done from Qbert Academy to really be able to fire back and be able to play together and kind of punish.
I feel like, okay, wait. I feel like Zera had such an insane map. He did only end with 20 kills, He did only end with 20 kills, and he does have 7 first bloods. But then you look on the other side and you see T-Dog, the IGL, just dropping 24 kills, almost matching the same first bloods that Zera had. I think T-Dog was a really big piece, and he was definitely securing a lot of his kills. But T-Dog is not somebody that we always look to for like high max performances, right? So I think going into this next map, we're going to need to see a little bit more from everybody. And of course, Nismo he's been kind of the henchman, right? He had a great first map. He had a solid second map as well. I'm probably looking towards him as well on the third map. But we're really going to need to see an awakening here for Redux. We're going to have to see Knights and Scuba really popping off on this third map, because I feel like it's going to be a very challenging one.
And just going on about what we saw in the first kills that was going the way of Envy versus the runs that they were actually winning, this is happening as well, because we start where Qbert Academy gets a numbers advantage, and then immediately they get traded off. And then we saw, especially on this map, but in the first map we talked about it too, where Nismo was playing by himself and getting taken down. This time around, yeah, he was getting the kills, he was performing, he was playing with a team, which is what you're expecting from the Breach, but it was still 0 and 4 on first kills, first deaths. He was dying first a lot of the times, and it's something that I've seen from Nismo a few times. If you want to win this last map, if you don't want to get eliminated from playoffs, if you want to keep running this tournament, I want to see these two players step it up the way that they've been doing in a few of these matches. And T-Dog just did. He did amazing. 24 kills, 6 first kills as well. And Nismo as well has some great moments. Now, if these two are ready for the last map, is a Qbert Academy that can win and move forward.
Yeah, this head-to-head, being able to highlight the initiators from this map. I mean, T-Dog, when you get to have him on the Sova, I feel like it's definitely one of those situations where you get to see a lot more of that impact. And See, there's a lot more than just calling in Nismo. I mean, both of these players, even if you're calling out like, okay, maybe first to die, still be able to step up in a really big way here. And when we're looking at a third map in the series and an Envy what needs to get shut down, Roy, looking to these two again to be able to replicate a bit of what they had here on Haven.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying before, how often do we see performances like this from T-Dog? So I think it's just like the IGL curse. You can only pop off so much as an IGL and win matches, right? And it's a really ongoing meme in Valorant. But I think there's a partial truth to it, is because if the IGL is getting kills, it means there's like so many dysfunctions happening on so many layers before it even gets up into a point where the IGL is getting kills, right? Because most IGLs are either on initiators or controllers, agents that aren't really in the front line. So the fact that they have this amount of stats is quite crazy.
Yeah. And now we get a third map in the series as these two teams facing elimination, and it's going to split for the next one. Cuber to start on the defense, but Roy, we are actually not 100% sure that we're going to get to a split. So how are we thinking this one's going to shake up?
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting one, because the composition that rankers are running, the Envy's running on this map, is completely off meta. So I'm wondering how many reps they've had against this sort of comp. It's going to be a very different pace that Cuber is really used to. But again, we have seen composition changes from them on almost a lot of their maps, on both maps actually. So I'm looking into this third map. I am wondering whether there will be any changes as well, because they are running a slight variant of the meta comp themselves with Astra, Breach, Teho, and of course Raze. But their sentinel of choice is Sage, an agent that we haven't really been seeing much on this map.
It'll be interesting to see how much this age can literally slow down what is such an aggressive team like Envy, especially looking at the double duelists. And if they are running back with what we normally get to see from them, this Yoru and ISO. Of course, we haven't seen Split in a while here, Dan, from the team. The last time we actually saw it was way back week 1 of Swiss. So there's always that window of opportunity for change, but I definitely expect to see a lot of aggression here. So at least to slow down that.
It's been about 3-4 weeks since we saw Envy play this map against Blue Otter, and yeah, like you were saying, it's the double duelers that we've been talking about, the same ISO, the same Yoru, but they do play with Clove here. So I feel like for them, it is likely that they're going to keep the composition, but I wouldn't really be surprised if Cuber Academy once again today play and change that composition. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of the Sage. In general, I feel like it can be good to slow things down a little bit, to hold that mid control a little bit better, but I feel like there's better opportunities to do so, and especially if they're stepping away from the Tejo, as we saw on that last map, they have chances, they have ideas to run here and maybe surprise a little bit of what Envy wants to do.
I don't know. I kind of like the Sage. I know sometimes it's just like wall mid simulator and you just kind of go from there. But at the same time, starting on defense, I feel like pulling up the last composition that Envy had on Split, again, way back in week 1, that this is a way that you can kind of, keep the team in check just a little bit. Like, sure, you wall mid, but that's also going to stop a couple of these late lurks coming on through, other things like that. So with how much they've switched for, I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wouldn't hate running back that comp.
Yeah, I'm actually sort of a big fan of Sage on this map as well. I think in the current meta, it's just so util heavy and so exec heavy that it's a little bit more telegraphed than other metas that we have seen, right? With double controllers specifically. So I think the Sage gives very good Q times to when to throw slows. It's a lot more than just walls, right? The slows are just so oppressive. People have forgotten how oppressive they are. And I think with a comp that doesn't have as much mobility as Envy's comp does, it might be a little tricky for them to get around certain parts of the map and kind of clear out the sites. Of course, Yoru having that sort of teleport power, he can bypass a lot of that stuff, but it's really about how are the other 4 players going to follow up on this. And another talking point that we're going to have as well is Clove has been nerfed. And there's really just not a lot of supporting util for the Yoru. I mean, there's no paranoia, there's no breach stun, there's no real flashes. It's just Yoru trying to get things done on his own. So I do wonder if there will be a swap on the controller here, maybe into an Omen to at least have something to work with.
Especially since it has been, again, so long since we've gotten to see the map of Split coming out from Envy. But then looking at the composition from the other end, I mean, when we have seen a Cubert Academy dance swap so many times on the day, again, it goes back to, are we going to see the Sage again? Or are we going to see the switch up? Or is there going to be any other surprises in store for us?
I don't think they're gonna keep playing the Sage. That's just my guess. That's just vibes that I'm going off with. I feel like they're gonna keep most of the things the same. I actually really like the Astra. I think we always have this conversation of Astra versus the Omen and kind of the value that each of them bring. I like that because it's kind of the narrative that we have at Cuber Academy, right? It's not just one player popping off. Yeah, all of them have their moments, but it's a little bit more of that team effort. And Astra is really allowing you to play for that team, to play for that post. So it is one of the stronger pieces that you have. On top of that, Tejo, if they're going to keep it, I don't know if they will because we already saw the change in Haven. But yeah, you have a lot of post-plan utility to work with. And that's kind of exactly what Cuber Academy need to tie up when they have the advantages. Okay, how are you going to close out that round the way that you want to?
I want to go back to the vibes check. I mean, you're saying you just have an idea about the Sage top you have played, but the other vibe that you had, Dan, on the day was Cuber Academy taking the win. You said that you had them at about 60%. Well, not the greatest, but, you know, technically positive. We get a map 3. How are you feeling now?
Well, it was 60%. Well, 60%, listen, hear me out. This means that it was going to be a close match, and it is a close match right now, right?
Agreed.
We are, so it is looking good. I mean, it's still, well, okay. If it's only about this map, I'll give it 70%.
70. All right. You heard it here. Dan Ryan's giving this one a 70%, but agent select's ready. I think that's going to be a lot of where I feel with the 70%, whether it's true or not, is what agents are going to be coming out. Do we see the switch up from Envy? Do Cuber Academy switch up the Sage? They switched a lot on the day, but no change coming out from either team here, Dan, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's going to be just an honest to goodness run back.
It is looking the same. Yeah, the Sage is still going to be played. The 70% goes back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're up in it?
I'm just kidding. But yeah, the composition remains the same for Cuber Academy. And on the side of MB as well, we're going to continue seeing this double duelist that is really, really annoying to deal with, Roy. So I don't know. Is Cuber Academy ready for this?
Yeah, I think they're definitely most ready, but there is a small change here. Envy is rocking the Omen. They've swapped off the Clove. They're going for a little bit more supportive util for the Yoru. I think that will make some difference on both sides, to be honest. I think they'll have a little bit more to work with, and it's going to be an interesting one, and it's all about who's going to be popping off, and may the show begin.
And it is the last map. It is elimination as well. So I like that we talked about the changes of Clove, not seeing the Clove anymore, and seeing this composition that continues to fit the side of Envy, continues to fit how they like to play, but also adapting to what is working right now in Valorant.
A series that's all down to split as two teams, two powerhouse teams that could have easily been in the finals are now fighting for their lives. One final map to determine who's eliminated, who moves on. So let's head on over into the map and back to your casters, Wyatt and Shift.
Yeah, this is as high as the stakes could possibly go for an Elim round 2 matchup. Both these two teams coming out of the group stage as huge favorites to make it to a grand finals, if not both of them have a square up in the grand finals, considering they started on opposite sides of the bracket. That has not been the reality that either of these two teams have been faced with here, though. So Envy going to keep on to what they've been rocking pretty much the entirety of this stage. The double duelist, Yoru Isu on the combination. We're on the opposite side. It's like the antique of the Sage coming to play for Cuber.
Yeah, the ancient relic of Sage mixed in with the new age Breach Tejo, which is what 100 Thieves were the first team, I think, that I saw debut running this comp. And it can be potent, but there are a lot of moving parts to it. It's difficult to run.
Oh, Scuba in trouble, just bouncing his way forward as KaneZera. Right back over is Redux, though, and he will be affected by that paranoia. Secondary attempt now likely to be through. Drone is out, gets the reveal and the suppress. Ion still in the corner, but no, nice headshot from Nismo. So now Envy are essentially stuck, having to force this bunker on towards the site. Shots is not quite there for Inspire. Leaves it now just to Poppin and Exter. And Exter's just playing a little bit of a crossfire setup on the outside of this Poison Cloud. That's not going to be effective. And Hubert will get a very, very clean retake.
Everybody on the Envy side getting pretty disconnected, but awkward with the weaponry and forcing them to be disconnected. Like Ion feels that he needs to push up, close the distance with the shorty, find a kill, but can't convert. Inspire trying to take the duel towards Heaven, can't convert. The shot's just not going the way of Envy really since the second half of Haven is where Qbert have taken over this game individually.
Well, we've seen this before. Getting around to the anti-eco,
there it is.
Zera on the Stinger. No one's surprised anymore. The
You
question
got a
will
kill
be, though,
last
like,
time.
yeah, but how do you get this through 2 judges? Like,
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's pretty challenging. Though the shield, pretty good against the judge, not very good against the wall. That's a little annoying, or the slow. And that shield going to be getting negative value.
this feels very like Envy's offense, though, for what it's worth, is kind of seeing them try to force quick aggression, quick burst to the middle of the map. Now you've got the ability to teleport and even cross through this dark cover onto site. These judges made infinitely more difficult to get impact here. Oh, great reveal. Although, Kane catches one. Should be an easy follow-up, and it is.
For you.
But can you hold this if you are Envy? Still playing on a couple of the crossfire setups, largely looking to see what you can get out of Inspire deep. That's where the judges really struggle. Inspire will find 2, but that will be all he'll grab, and Qbert will win the anti-eco.
Not bad, though, for Envy. Poppin able to just slip in off the distraction in mid, gets all the way into B, free plan on default. So they get the cash from that, get 3 kills. They will definitely take it. Not going to be a particularly great bonus round to buy for Qbert Academy. Chance for Envy to get back into the game here.
But so far, again, I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing out of the tempo from Envy. Just trying to keep the gas pedal down and really force tough decisions for Qbert in terms of utility spends, like we saw with the barrier plus the slow orb on the last play through Mail. Just try to make this Breach, Taeho, Raze combination just a little bit softer. Try to pull out things like the fault line early if you can. It's just so difficult. I mean, it's just a staple trio right now.
Wow. Excellent first kill from Kane. Cracks open Mail and is going to force T-Dog to pick that angle up. Closes the distance with the Bucky, but now intentions, it looks like Qbert want to re-clear into B main together as Envy storm through Mail, get into B through Heaven.
All trying to flash their way into main. Inspire now alerted. Yeah, really good stuff. Scuba will be isolated. Only 1 trade in the mix. Redux up top. Does he want to try to find timing here? Yep, and he does. Wow, that's actually brilliant. So now you can at least get the Taeho over. But I say all of that just to watch Kate and Zera rise with a shield. Up zip, and yeah, Nismo with a judge 1v3. Gonna have to clutch one of these weapons up top if you want to give this a try, and he's actually gonna re-rep this to B main.
I just hope to get an exit. Kane Zero would love to be able to find this last duel and get his ult online.
Well, we'll see. Here come the footsteps. How dangerous can Nismo be in this position? First one's good. Second one a little bit tougher. And that would be enough for Envy to get out, get their round win. And, well, I think that's still not bad news overall for Qbert. You're going to force 3 repurchases here.
Yeah, another fair round of economic damage for one of the teams. That was such an excellent first kill. I like the Qbert tried to press the issue, get into B main to cut off that one player who would be there when the split hit comes in, but maybe we're a little bit too fast to assist Inspire there. They played that well.
This is the key one. Nismo's only got a Stinger out in play. Ares, of course, it's out. Poppin's holding that. Still rocking the Ares. A little bit of a feel out for both teams, as not really much gained nor lost for the time being, as Envy are pretty primed and ready to just get some damage done over through mid. Smoke in the way, replaced by a Star. That will be popped immediately, and this is the benefit of having the Astra here. You can just keep replacing that Star and keeping Smokes congesting mid.
Envy do manage to dismantle the wall, but it took them a hell of a lot of time, and now they have to deal with the poison orb. There's so much in mid from the defense.
Whoa. Kane just walks up, says, what's going on over here at Vents? And comes away with not just one, but a second. T-Dog still holds the line. That's your spike carrier down. Kane trying to save the day, and even off the flash, he's good for it. Follow up as he tries to make his play down ropes. The follow through over through B main is enough to save the round, or is it? Nismo has the health advantage, just a stinger. The timing could be good though. Ion's got a knife out, and Nismo's gonna catch him for free. You thought for maybe a moment Kane was gonna just put the round out of question, but more heroics for Kubert.
Scuba again has just been stepping up, taking over rounds in their entirety. What a first kill again for Kane. Back-to-back rounds with a sick first blood. I mean, the fact that Scuba almost transferred to get the third there as well, gets the dink with the Phantom, is crazy. He has been electric in the second half of this series. Forces Envy onto the eco, putting them in a really tough position.
Yeah, I'll say. Wow, what a start here for Kubert. Throws the flash topside ramp, Redux. Good anti-flash position, and wow, holds the line nicely. Salvo to replace his presence, and now T-Dog can just spam through the nebula. Even that's gonna work out. caneZero low. Probably still has to try to force something though. I mean, you've got nowhere to go here for him. You're just completely stuck in ramps.
There's nothing to be done. Drone coming through, no HP. All of Kubert here because Knights gets the wall up in mid early. Oh, no one's breaking it this time. All right, no noise on B. All right, we're just gonna go stack up A and dump all of our util on ramp. Get a bunch of free kills. And look at the state of the ults for Kubert Academy when we get into the next round. Redux, T-Dog, both one away from theirs. One of them is going to get it no matter what because, well, I'm not going to say that. I say that now and watch Envy somehow win this round with two players with 21 HP each. But surely either T-Dog and Redux will be getting the defuse. They will inevitably have another ult.
Yes. If there's even a plant here. Kane's going to try to step forward, a touch Mer, pop in, taking some stray shots. Now we'll make his move for the plant.
10 seconds left.
This would have to be a historic lineup. Not going to happen. Nismo able to find his first elimination in this exchange. And now Poppin is going to try to play an angle towards Dirt, see if he can find some damage. Not going to happen. T-Dog's right click is good. So yeah, you got the Cosmic Divide, the Armageddon, and the Roaring Thunder at the ready for the next round. And with this defuse, Redux will add a showstopper to the pile. Where on the other side, to be fair, I mean, it's 4 ultimates ready for Envy as well. So we're going to get an explosive round 6.
Yeah, absolutely. T-Dog definitely going to be wanting to upgrade that Judge and get a rifle. You would love to not be sent into the kill contract with a shotgun.
So far, so good, though. I mean, looking at the eye test, kind of comparing to the results that we had, which was, again, just a couple of days ago, now, Kubert really struggled on the defensive side with this composition against Core. Not the case here. They've already matched the tower that they had from that half. And there's a lot more possibly still to come. Armageddon is not going to be spent here to try to stop this play towards A, and yes, it will. Enough opportunity to sidestep this. Salvos are in place. You're going to be able to at least force in the jamming with the Steel Garden, but Envy's still hanging. Showstopper misses for Redux. And hold on a second, now everyone's shrugged off the effects of the Steel Garden. They can come back and fight this, and Envy are hanging on to the site in the face of every single ultimate, now including the Roaring Thunder, which does hit onto 3. Oh, and the follow-up is perfect.
Spike down A.
Just down to Inspire. 1v2. Over the top, does he get any information? As T-Dog is still hanging with a Sheriff and a Judge combination.
He refuses to pick up a rifle. There's gotta be a rifle on the ground there, man.
Well, here's the contact at elbow. Inspire for the first out of the 1v1. And does T-Dog still have the Sheriff? Apparently he does. Apparently that's all he needs. There's legitimately a buffet line of weapons to select, and he's like, nah, I'm good. Oh, mercy.
That is insane. T-Dog has really been on fire. Haven into split now. That Rolling Thunder was excellent. And I love that Qbert, despite being in that 2 versus 4, they wanted to win that round. They sent it with that breach ult, collect all 3 kills. I couldn't believe that they were losing the round prior to that, though. They already used the showstopper, the Armageddon. They have missiles placed on the site where the players from the Armageddon are getting routed into. There's slows on the floor. Like, there's so much going on for Envy to have to deal with. How on earth they found the advantage, I do not know. But that proactivity from Qbert to then close it out in the 2v4 is really sick.
Unreal. On the flip side of things, you know, I know there's been a lot of conversations about the double duelist. I think early on in the group stage in particular, Envy just outpaced, out-tempoed, and just surprised teams with this composition. But Eggster has not been a participant in this match so far. I mean, it hasn't been pretty. And now he's at 0-6. And you're back onto a broken buy situation for Envy. I feel like this team has shown us, and especially in their opening bracket matchup, they showed us that they can get caught being frustrated. This kind of feels like one of those moments where they feel frustrated right now.
Look at this buy. What is going on
I don't
right
know,
now?
dude. That's what I'm saying.
You have 2 hero rifles with Ion and Kane, and the Ares Inspire just has a Sheriff. All right, but sometimes it just doesn't matter because Kane is going to keep finding first kills. That's his 3rd already, and Scuba gets caught. All right, somehow Rankers, they're getting away with it.
It's that Envy magic. Here comes the hit over towards top B tower. Oh, T-Dog is the worst Valorant time you've ever seen. Looks away just as the player runs up, finds the cross. So now it's just down to Redux with an outlaw. And all of a sudden, we look really silly, Wyatt, for questioning this purchase on Envy, don't we?
It genuinely doesn't look like they know what the plan is going into the round. Eggster was on a classic until like 1 second before the round started, then bought into whatever. I can't even remember, but still had 2K in the bank. While other people have 400 in rifle. It's just chaos. But it just doesn't matter because Kane is going to hold down W and headshot the first player he sees.
Wow. Okay, that's a lifeline for Envy here in the middle portion of this first half. But again, there is still something to be talked about with like the efficiency of the ISO with the Euro. It just has not been the same as we've seen. Not to take away from KZera, his first blood ratio has been unbelievable this series. Every single time we get to a final scoreboard, he has got 5 or 6 of the team's first kills. But on the other front, Eggster just has not been able to find that same level of participation. We already talked about Inspire having a tough time getting going. This has not been the same case. He's looked better here, but it just feels like one of those matchups right now where you kind of give credit to Qbert and their ability to kind of counteract and game plan against what you know you're going to face versus Envy. They shut down Inspire. They're not letting Eggster pop off. It's just been the heroics of players like Kane and Poppin in particular that's kept Envy in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. This round, however, they've got this dimensional drift for Eggster. Good way to get into a site. What an angle from Redux. Puts Envy on the back foot. Even still, though, they do still have the dimensional drift to try and get into a site, and then you have that Viper's Pit to go down in the post plant. Can still be enough to turn the tide, especially against Qbert with some bad weaponry here.
Yeah.
And forced in nice just with the Sheriff. T-Dog with a stinger.
Oh, Nismo gets a foot. Oh boy, he's seen it. Oh, really good with grenade setup. Now the salvos will be through. That's going to force the gunfight on his terms. A pop into swings, finds elimination, and lets him know about it. Yeah, why not? He threw everything at you. Sage Wall in the way of the dimensional drift as it now starts to open up the B site. Quickly on the rotation. T-Dog, really good fault line. Can he follow through that? Yeah, just steps up into the near side, and this is the paranoia. Flash to follow, and whoa, what a shot from Knights. Able to help out and keep his teammates safe a little while longer. Next one, not so much, though. The 1v1. Garden will be placed, and Inspire's going to be able to set this on his terms with the 1v1 post plant.
That just keeps him safe to get the spike down. This timing right now.
Does he really want to go all the way for the rewrap? Rose gets triggered. Redux still clearing the backside of the site. The longer this takes, the more you start to think that this is a play over towards Dirt. And there's the clearance. Now hopping. Inspire. Close on the corner. Gonna catch him at the right time. Just is about to get the halfway. Huge clutch at Envy. Now pull back 2 rounds in a row, and we can talk about what the rest of this map starts to look like now.
Yeah, that was some really lovely intuition there from Inspire. Stepping up in a must-win situation. After Redux hits a fantastic opener. Poppin stepping up again, too. I mean, you called him out before the round started. It's really been Poppin and Kane for the most part this series, and Inspire now getting into the mix. These guys have to stay sharp. Qbert are really, I gotta say, across the board, everyone has been having their individual moments. They're really on point today.
Yeah, absolutely. Not surprised to see the timeout, but I would be interested to know what they're talking about, because the last 2 rounds felt like they were pretty much well in hand for a good portion of it. But the trouble now has been Inspire. These post plants have allowed him a chance to start to pop off a little bit. Kane as well, we keep talking about, is always a force in the first blood battle, so that has to be some level of communication. There's also the level of, like, how do we want to set ourselves up to possibly maybe use a res in this round? We've got a number of players who can purchase full rifles. Like, maybe there's a chance there. See what they give us. Buckies and Stingers is what they're going to give us. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot in the way of that early round proactivity from Qbert Academy. Trying to catch a player off with that big util dump on one of the extremities, something super active like that. They've been more reactive. It's been the Envy team taking the fight to them straight up mid most of the time. You would have been more happy to just try and cycle this utility out and play for map control.
Yep. Well, now it's not just map control. It's map control as a way to play essentially just basic corners with Stingers, Buckies, and one judge. I mean, you can see in the minimap, everyone's watching a Crossfire setup up close and personal. Nismo about to get a world of hurt here. How many can he grab? Breaks the double tap, finds another. That is more than enough. So 2 down. The contingency wall going to allow Envy to push on towards site, though. And you have to know you need to play for tower here. If you're running up against shotguns, and that will work out well. Iron's going to catch 2. Paranoia behind that for a 3rd. No, not quite. Knight's still able to hold on to their life, but this post plant's going to be impossible to break down with a Stinger and a Bucky.
I don't even think he knows how he got the 2nd kill. I couldn't even tell. It just perfectly lined up. Inspire on the flank. I think this one might work out. Yeah. A little sad that Ion goes down, but all good.
Well, Scuba. Here's the footsteps over towards ramp, trying to chase down Poppin, who's out of there. And up the ropes is Inspire. Good timing here to give himself a chance at a couple of elims, but not going to happen, as now all of a sudden Envy have brought this back to within 1 after being completely stalled out of their offense. They get a heroic round win in round 7. You follow up with a couple of crazy gunfights in round 8, and now all of a sudden, you capitalize on what is just a broken buy situation. You catch off Qbert, try to play sneaky, and you've got a chance to maybe even continue forward to take this half.
Heading into this next one, saw that Redux is picking up the operators, so you could see some kind of defensive setup now where they're going to allow, Redux to just control one extremity, and then you can get that Taeho Breach duo to play together elsewhere, leave your Sage to control mid still. I like this adjustment right now. I like the setup from Qbert, but it can all fall apart when Kane just runs at them and gets a first kill.
Yeah, that's the idea. Slow orb, that's the 2nd one. Plays over the top, but still, KaneZera wants to take that angle away, and Wolf actually pushed Knights back into sight. This is not where you want to be as a Sage in a critical gun round, because you're looking for res ability. Trade over the middle of the map may allow a chance to re-react to this, get back up to tower. Redux inside the site, hoping for support from the high ground, but smoke clearance is not going to be really impacted, and Envy are going to hold on to topside B tower. Timing here, though, not great, as Inspire will drop, and now there's a numbers advantage. 4v3 for Qbert.
I can overwhelm Scuba playing backside A, though. That being said, Scuba only needs to get 1 in this situation.
Agreed.
have to imagine he can do so. Noise being made as Kane drops down.
Last player standing.
And Scuba does better than one. He's going to get the second. So now it's just all down to Kane. Give him a 1v3. As he tries to clear out the backside of A, he's going to have to also collect the spike. Giving himself a chance here. It just comes down to when this Nebula fades. Does he get a read on it? And sure does. Okay, hold on a second. He's got time to collect and plant. That's enough for at least Redux to be brought back in with the res. Nismo, Knights trying to come back quickly. Kane's ready for it. Enough time to still plant on this. Knights following up, though, will not allow that to happen. And Kubert back on the winning side of things here, 6-4 up.
Yeah, it really just starts to crumble when Inspire takes that bad timing through the smoke in B main. Caught by Redux. At that point in the round 2, Envy had done a great job of getting tons of map control. After this kill on T-Dog, you could see them in B heaven applying so much positional pressure on Kubert. They were trying to over-rotate towards B. And if they make that pivot back to A and Inspire takes his time, we might be looking at a very different round, but punish for that little mistake.
It's really been all it's been largely for these two teams. In those really tight gun rounds, it's just been little mistakes here and there. Envy stacked up at ramps. They're going to leave Inspire over towards B main. Here comes the utility to allow them to get onto site. Blocks off screens as well. Redux going to be red over towards B main with the operator, so this should allow some commitment to come through. Aftershock right on top of the default plant position. Those stalls just out a little while longer. Kubert are trying to stack for a retake early.
Envy have got this planted for heaven, so they're going to want to try and get someone to wrap up there late as the pit goes down.
Yeah. Armageddon to try to flush it out. I think the kill contract was sent right there. Still be able to find first blood. That's Exer who drops again. Yeah. Kane0 versus T-Dog, and whoa, not clean from Kane, but still wins it. Cosmic Divide for the defense, splitting off this post plan. They need to make a decision. Do we commit to get into the pit, or do we play from outside? Because still hanging right now is Poppin. He's still actually looking pretty solid in this position. Him and Kane0, a bit of a crossfire situation, and Kubert cannot get back into sight. Great commitment to play just on the edge of the Viper's pit from Poppin. The crossfire is perfect, and now we're 6-5 going into the last of the half.
They've been sitting on that ult for a minute, but when they finally get it down, gets maximum value. Armageddon was spent by Nismo as well just to try and re-enter into the site. Wasn't enough. And then once they have to pivot and try to get out of heaven, Kubert are absolutely cooked everyone on that angle. Last round of the half, and they have less than an ideal buy, Kubert Academy. Not terrible, but just a sheriff for Redux who's hoping to get one orb so he can get that showstopper, and he does collect it.
Bold take here from Inspire. Oh, but he catches Nismo rotating back just as the execute to his front side of B. Calls for help. Scuba trying to play from inside the site, down to 56 HP. And with that elimination, Envy can now hit a pause and try to see if they can move this Kubert defense around with a numbers advantage.
Yeah, I like that. They didn't try to force getting into B off of that presence that they had, seen over at A. Inspire knew there were two players. It looks like they want to now work towards A, get a re-hit going over there, make some noise over at B with Inspire and Eggster. Wow, just that one flash. Look at the top of the minimap.
Yep.
Everyone from Kubert is running over there. Steel Garden to sell as well, and they bought it.
I mean, you have to commit if you're Kubert with these weapons. You have to try to play off the rifles that you have. So now Kane can get very deep and scale through screens. But if he gets caught here, it's going to be a weapon. This comes down to if he does, and uh-oh. Here we go. Now you've got Showstopper. You have the Rolling Thunder. You can clear out a lot of this site immediately. But look at the long wrap from Envy. Their post plant's now all of a sudden going to play up towards tower, but they're aware of that. And Ion from inside the site, the only one not affected by this play, is all of a sudden tee it off. 3 for Ion. Scuba the last one. Left, not quite able to find the shot as Ion. It's not the 1v2, but Inspire from behind secures the round, and it's another 6-6 half.
Yeah, that is crazy. Back to back to back, 6-6, neck and neck halves, every single map. The shots from Ion were beautiful, so crisp. And he needed to step up, given that Envy across the map, they were not playing together at all. Kane pushes up, gets caught alone. They still had 2 players towards B who had to run all the way back over to A. They needed someone to pop off like that.
Yes.
Otherwise, things could have gotten really disastrous.
Look, Wyatt, I might be on more tender ground than you with this community, but Envy is currently tied playing a 4v5.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I was about to say, which of us is going to point it out?
I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy.
One of us is going to have to direct the eye of Sauron over to the goose egg on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You hate to see that.
See if they can manifest something defensively. Oh, Kane, his shoulder seen on the cross. Follow up decent from Inspire, but he can only collect down to 1. So now, again, kind of what Envy just did to Qbert. Qbert's doing right back to Envy, saying we've defeated your A setup, and now we can kill time, force you to consider multiple angles where we've got numbers advantage. I mean, wherever they commit, they're going to have at worst a 4v2.
Envy are pulling 2 players over to the B side as Qbert just slowly work their way up mid. Fully contact pushing. Getting into heaven. I like this from Envy. Double re-clear of B main. Try and isolate one fight.
So far, so good. Spike will very tenderly make its way on. Oh, what a read here. They find one, not quite the second, but again, just too much presence for Qbert. And now we go to Eggster. Is this the time?
Is this the moment? If he wins 1v4,
all the rest of this map is moot.
Don't care. Doesn't matter that he hasn't gotten a kill yet. I'm rooting for him.
I think the whole of this broadcast is rooting for him right now. But classic from this position against 4 ghosts. Don't feel great about it. There's the check. Yeah,
that's
easy.
Tough.
That's tough.
That's real tough. That was a great stun by T-Dog that came in last second just to get that clear into main as the smoke faded. Just aware that someone could be playing in that smoke when it's about to drop. So let's play it safe. Get the stun on that line.
Love it.
One enemy.
Okay, pistol win goes the way of Qbert. Kane, yep. Stinger, no. Bucky,
I have your back.
okay.
The rare Bucky purchase. Gotta say, Qbert, they must be pretty dominant in the pistol rounds at this point,
Yeah.
no? I can't think of the exact number, but surely
good.
they're in the lead. They've won both on this map. I know that for a fact.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
NV won 1 on Lotus, and they won 1 on Haven, so bit of an even split.
Light carriers down.
So at this point, but
What?
Kane, okay, this Bucky is finding value. Oh my goodness. If it weren't for the paint shells, I don't know if Redux would have lived through that.
I mean, this man Inspire only has a classic, but combined, Qbert have 46 health. This is so winnable. You could kill someone with a razor vine.
And look how nervous Qbert are about this play on B.
They're sweating bullets, and for good reason. Bulldog recovered now. I mean, Inspire could even take them out with the right-click Bucky at range if he really wants to. Wouldn't advise it, but he
30
could.
seconds left.
They're going to get to a spot for a post plant. Inspire seems to just be hard committing. I'm sure he's gotten the information that, everyone is so weak. Like, if you have to play retake, you have to play retake. Which will be what comes through. And Redux is going to try to play top tower on this post plant, leaving Nismo down low.
Retrieving flash.
Yeah, it looks like Nismo might just want to rotate to him, double up. Play off the spike planted for them. But with that low HP, it still might not be enough.
Yeah.
Redux has an opportunity to just close this out right now.
Timing. Fire gets across. He's going to try to chase this down. Salvo. Whoa. Does he get him in the corner? Yeah, sure does. Now it's just time to the 1v1 with Nismo. How big can Inspire be? Toggles on the spike. Has the arc rose to try to play off of this, but no. Nismo just too quick around the backside elbow. No worries whatsoever. Now, the question will be, coming into this next round, what does your bonus actually look like after a very messy affair in the second anti-eco?
Yeah, Scuba still had a lot of cash, so he's going to get a third rifle up. I mean, one of those rounds where, you know, your rankers, you're going to feel good about doing all that damage, but it's going to feel bad that you know you were so close to legitimately winning with one Bucky and all classics. Kane is just a different breed. There's Kane Zero and there's everybody else in the server.
There's definitely been plenty of moments where we've seen that. But Envy need to manifest some more of it because they're still down 2. And in terms of quote-unquote this being a normal bonus round, because of how many eliminations Hubert have found in the first 2, this is actually a full gun round for both teams. Just a couple of light armors in the way. Poppin, just spamming a corner. Takes off the head of Nismo. That's a critical elimination for Envy as well, for what it's worth. I mean, not having the Tejo here makes the executes a little bit less, I would say, potent in terms of their ability to break down these sites with how wide they are.
And bear in mind, Hubert have not gone for the bonus. They invested into this. Yep. 3 of their players on effective 0 credits.
Poppin. Oh. Back over to the ropes. Showstopper out on the chase. One player still up top. Wait, Egster. Okay, that was what I said. We got to capitalize here, my guy. He's got himself, too. More on the way. No, Scuba with the shutdown. Kane Zero, double tap in effects. Rotating over is Inspire. 30 seconds to the clock, and whoa. Hubert going to try to rewrap this through ropes, and Inspire may catch a sound cue off of this. If not, he's definitely going to catch him on the drop-in.
Yeah, here's the audio on the angle.
Spike down
I have the spike.
Scuba's got the spike. Chance to still plant this. There's enough separation for him to reset to the 1v2.
Planted. My
Got the
ultimate.
divide is earned if he wants to try to play off of that, and yeah, looks like he does. No, just stars for now. Kane up top. Couple of shots through the nebula. Not effective. Is there a chance to isolate onto Inspire first? Kane is still playing way far away from this. Excuse me? Just a little spam shot towards elbow from Inspire. Connects on a Scuba's head. And that's how we win the round? Okay.
All right, cool. They will take it. Envy desperately needing an ounce of their magic to return to the world because it has gone a little bit quiet for them. Poppin starts off just pre-fire spam, then Nismo takes a nice little stroll into, and it happened. It has occurred. Egster is on the goddamn board with 2, and he needed those 2 desperately. The team needed that.
Okay. 8-7 Stingers, 2 Vandals for Hubert. Again, talking about the fact that bonus was a full purchase for them. Now they're in a broken buy situation. Slow orb trying to combine with the salvos. Pop in, yep, it does get affected by that. So good break off here for Hubert. Following up into that position, though, is going to be Kane. He doesn't want to let anyone come back through here. Now all of a sudden you've lost 2 rifles, and this has become very doable for Hubert.
2 rifles for... Look at Hubert's money. They went all in with the Stingers on this round. Confident that they would have the read on the situation. They punish Poppin. And then that lovely double swing, just full sprint. Kane is overwhelmed by numbers. And now an opportunity to reset in the mid-round. Meet up with Scuba, who's just been controlling A passively.
Oh, he's going to like to hold this line. Wow, bold choice. Punished for it. And now it's on to Egster. Flash out. He hits everybody with it, but Hubert still just too many players to deal with.
30 seconds left.
Find the kill they need. Plant is now in play. An Ion 1v3. Eco is about to be broken. I imagine he probably just looks for exits here.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so incredibly bold from Hubert to send it into that round with 4 Stingers fully bought out, knowing that they would break Envy's economy if they win this round.
Yeah.
This is the tail end of map 3 in an elimination game. So gutsy to go for that. So confident in the read on the situation.
Oh. Ion not going to be allowed to bring anything with him. into round 17, and that is an immediate flip for Qbert. I love the game plan idea of how you just execute through mid like that. Hadn't really seen that happen yet, and I know that we've gotten Envy largely just playing off like poison clouds and dark covers in through mid, and Qbert are like, well, if they're not going to be able to stall us here, why not just run it down, see if we can create an opportunity to collect weapons? And it doesn't just turn into one, it turns into two, and at that point, you're like, wow, we're going to win this round.
Yeah, they just knew. They had the sixth sense that they'd be able to punish Poppin on that round, that he would play from Male again at that angle he played on the prior one, where he got that pre-fire kill on Nismo. They just felt that he would go for that again, and he did. And they get him with the fault line into the missiles. And now we have a tech pause. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that for us.
We've had a lot of that so far today. It's been a marathon of a series, but it's been a good one. All three of these maps have been unbelievably tight. And we talked about this a little bit back in map number 1, but I think the thing that's been really fun about this series is watching both these teams adapt and adjust to one another. A lot of it coming after timeouts, but finding their vulnerabilities and then finding the immediate response has been brilliant for both these two squads.
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
You know, so if now the thing about this is with a broken economy purchase here for Envy, can you find some of that creation? Because the difference is, as you mentioned from a couple of rounds ago, is like it's just been small mistakes. Like Thrifty's here, Clutch is there, but this is one of those rounds that Envy needs that magic to keep Qbert off double digits.
KiNZera is buying into the Guardian, has the kill contract, could go for some kind of crazy duel. Just pop the shield, try to get the kill with the Guardian. I would not be surprised if he sends it.
Me neither.
I mean, they certainly have the ults to turn this around and get a little eco win here of their own.
The thing is, like, you can't, if you are going to commit to popping the Steel Garden in this round, you have to know it has to hit. Like, you can't get baited into pulling it out. It also throws in the level of, like, maybe we do just upgrade pistols here and give ourselves a chance at what is essentially an anti-eco. Hard to say. But if you're going to pop it, it has to connect on at least, I would say at least 2, if not 3 members.
Yeah, just see if they can't get into a good post-plant situation, fire it off while the spike is going down. Something where you know you're just going to get a couple of those people tagged up by it. I'm currently looking at the Discord channel.
Not yet.
If we find out what's happening. Has a player finally forgotten to charge their mouse? The classic timeout cause.
That's classic indeed. Oh, there's the word. Okay, so it looks like this will be a bit of an extended tech pause. So we'll hop off the air for now. We'll come back. Again, 9-7 the count. You don't want to go far, so don't. Stay around, and we'll be back after this as soon as we're through with this tech. All right, we're back into it here after the tech pause. Again, 9-7 the count. The big curiosity point coming into this next round is if the Steel Garden comes through, can Envy utilize that as a chance to get this thing close to a one-round game? Otherwise, Qbert will find themselves on double digits here in map 3 of an elimination matchup.
And they have intentions of fighting forward towards A right now. KaneZero pushed up off the arc, rose, but immediately shut down.
Yeah.
That was the one decent weapon for the Envy side. And it's taking a lot of damage on top of that.
I think that's all from the boombot, Wyatt. Like, it just went right by him and it definitely got activated. So just trying to overplay for the kill. Poppin looking for an orb, punished for that. And Qbert likely to catch their 10th round here with this 5v3. And as you mentioned, the hero weapons that were purchased are now down and out.
We're getting to a point where you're also just thinking about the fact that this Qbert team are filled with players that are so much more experienced, deep in tournaments, in high-pressure situations than the guys on Envy are. You know, they're mega talented, but they haven't been in situations like this often, if at all yet. You know, they've been dominant in the offseason, dominant in the regular season, but this is a totally different situation to find yourself in. One map away from getting knocked out in the lower bracket, coming into this playoffs as a massive favorite. That is a lot of pressure to be able to handle. And it might just be too much.
Yeah, and
Qbert
honestly,
Academy have really shown up.
I was going to say, like, there may be something to be talked about, you know, in retrospect once this tournament is over, about the teams that got out of the group stage quickly, whether it was flawlessly or just one with one loss. Like, their kind of game plan and identity, catching a lot of teams off guard, that was a month and a half ago. And so it's like you're coming back into the game playing the exact same way, and even though the teams that had to kind of fight for their lives to get to playoffs in the first place may not have been as complete of a squad at the beginning of the group stage, they're facing up against teams that are trying to replicate what this Rankers team had done, replicate what Qbert had done, and they're getting reps versus it. And then, of course, you have the ability, like Qbert Academy, to utilize your coaching staff to do the math, do the research. We saw the counter picks come through in map number 1. They've done a really nice job of keeping one of the 5 members of Envy out of the picture.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are other teams that are just getting so many more reps than these guys, which can certainly be an advantage. We've got Qbert now really on the precipice of collecting this map 3 win, moving on in the lower bracket. Envy feeling a lot of weight on their shoulders. Economy on the line, big ultimates to play with, must-win round.
Yep.
Blinding press.
Yeah, this may be the most important round we've had so far. We've had a lot of really close maps, so it says something. Similar look in terms of the utility spent towards the front at A ramps. And wow, we're gonna pop the dimensional drift here to see if we can just catch the information behind this play. Kill contractor to come through. Steel Garden also gonna be in the mix here as Kane's gonna find himself in a 1v1 with Knights. Quickly found the win. Qbert in some trouble here, and wow, Envy have just hit the gas and absolutely decimated the Qbert setup at A.
That was a devious play that they just hit with the dimensional drift into the Steel Garden with the suppress from KaneZero. Extra pops out behind them, finds 3 on the round while Kane wins the duel. What the hell is that? That is so sick. Flawless.
They died underneath our boots.
I love it. That's going to play with your mental a little bit if you're Qbert. Now, granted, it was an expensive round. You're using a lot of ultimates to make that happen. Kill contract, dimensional drift, Steel Garden comes out. On the flip side, you spent nothing if you're looking at this from the perspective of Qbert. But important round to feel like you're back into this game with conviction if you're Envy. It helps reset the mental a touch, and I think in particular that last elimination from Exter is going to go a long way of him feeling a little bit more steady as we get into the depths of this map.
That also might have been the highest value picture-in-picture on a Valorant broadcast I've ever seen. where we got all of Exter plus the ult. Crazy.
Oh, it's Qbert's time now. Armageddon at the ready. Rez at the ready. Cosmic Divide. Flash over the top, though. Oh, and how about this? Breakers are trying to force the issue, but Redux, oh my goodness, he takes it 1v3. just sitting in the corner, backside of the box. The only place that Envy doesn't look, and that turns into a 3v2 after what looked to be an absolute shock and awe defensive moment for Envy.
He just slips the net and gets into a perfect position to catch Envy off guard while they're trying to continue this defensive aggression that was looking good in that moment. Even winning the last against KaneZero, who had the shield. So sick. Now it's really all on Ion if this hit comes in to be, if he can find value, find a kill to at least maybe bring it to a 2v2 retake, but it's Qbert cutting noise.
Yeah. Salvo to flush out the back of the site. Showstopper out. Clear out the front. It's good space, but I don't really know if Envy's going to care too much that the Showstopper is spent there. This is the one thing that I was going to say is going to cause the most amount of issue. But that told, Envy's in a pretty decent spot to try to contest this from both sides. Paranoia cuts across the site. Ion trying to work forward. Inspire waiting for his time to go. And I don't know, they may have missed a window on the time with the Paranoia coming through. Yeah, you get back onto site, but how do you challenge B main or just this Cosmic Divide? They're going to wait for it to fade. Lots of time taken off the clock for that to happen. Follow up now from Inspire. Able to tally onto one, but again, tick, 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 tick. That spike starts to get closer and closer to the detonation of the crossfire setup. That leaves Scuba in the corner. The 1v1 win, and Qbert will find himself on 11.
Scuba has been so ice cold in the 1v1 situations in this series. Getting a crucial final kill onto Inspire there. Envy were just waiting out that Cosmic Divide. Like you said, it just got so much valuable time off the clock, forced their hand. But it was this play. It was Redux tucking into the corner here. Excellent 3K.
Yeah, it's definitely a round-defining one without question. Nearly good for the full ace for what it's worth. We had a good look at those last two. But 11-8. Purchase is still good for the defensive Envy. Hit. Called him late. Very late here at mid. And those spam shots coming through Mail, I don't even know if he can step back in comfortably to get the integrity of it back up. In fact, they're going to have to get Extra in first just to make sure this Viper's pick can stay up and stay in play.
And luckily, he got the molly down just in time that forced Qbert to fall back out of the pit, so they still have some mid control. But yeah, mid control they have to be nervous about, because at any point Qbert can try to re-clear in there with the stealth drone from Nismo.
Yeah. Inspire still playing off of his own utility inside of the A site. Help nearby from Kane, and he's going to need it, and it's a node because of how force it is. From the shadows to get the defense over, Ion's going to try to help out, but Qbert are out of there and already making a move to get the spike over to B.
And that being said, time is getting a little bit low, and the majority of the Qbert players are nowhere near the 2 on B. Ion has a chance to shut this down.
Yeah. Good utility coming through. Paranoia comes out, though. Extra's right there to help teleport Braddock over, and all of a sudden the defense is in spot for this. You're going to get out of the pit and immediately jump into the site here if you're popping. Ion's still alive and well. Envy's still holding from inside the site. Qbert have nowhere to go. They have to win these gunfights, but how can you? You can't see anything. Down to under 5 seconds. Scuba caught on the cross. No chance for T-Dog to get in, and Envy will get their 9.
The pace from Qbert was just far too slow after they got pushed out of mid when the pit went down. Just taking too much time on A with the majority of the players there. And despite Ion missing that first shot, which had me worried when Nismo peeked the corner, that Paranoia was perfect. And then Eggster comes in, who, by the way, at one point was 0-12. And so since then is 9-4 on the board. He's stepping up after having a tragic start to Split.
He's back, baby. I'm telling you, that last win at range, little clean tap to the head, that's one that gets your mojo moving a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And on that round too, where they went for their crazy triple ult aggro play, he teleports out behind them to get that 3K. No, that is more than the confidence builder he needed.
Good manipulation of space from Ion as well in the back here, just being thrown everything was thrown at him, legitimately. But outside the timeout now, Qbert find themselves in a bit of a predicament financially. Envy hoping this is a chance for them to not just get to 10, but also build up on a couple of those key ultimates. Dimensional Drift is already 1 away. Kill contract also really close as well for Cainzera. So the path has been paved here for Envy, tell you that much.
It's just every time you think this series is going in one direction, something shifts, and all of a sudden, Envy are back in the game with Cubert Academy on an eco. Real chance of getting this to 10. I mean, they would love to have a clean round to stabilize their economy for the rest of this game, too.
A little blast pack play, trying to win over towards Mail, but Exter will catch one in the cross. Oh, Blender over towards ropes. And now the double tap, and Cainzera is going to take the challenge. That will get him the kill contract. So very efficient here with the Odin. They know T-Dog's in the corner, and he'll get a right click off, but nothing more. 4 in the round for the Odin carrying Cainzera, and Envy cleanly and flawlessly get their way to double digits.
Getting into this buy round, it's Cubert Academy who now have to be so concerned about another crazy aggro play with that dimensional drift in the kill contract, like the one that destroyed them a few rounds ago. Exter and Cainzera have just been racking up so many kills. They're cycling the ults out so quickly.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
And here we go. We're up for some fireworks to finish off this map. That much feels certain.
And Knights has been sitting on that res for a minute. T-Dog with the rolling thunder. Cubert Academy's economy on the line.
Yep.
So important that they win this round out.
Well, they're taking their time on this approach. You've got the rolling thunder. If you want to use that as a entry tool. Again, on the flip side of things, though, the dimensional drift just to play for a safe retake could be a possibility. You also have the kill contract to confirm for sure you're going to have numbers when you do need to defend. And Cubert, outside of a couple of smokes and a boombot, they really haven't shown force anywhere. So Envy's just hanging around like, all right, cool.
Yeah, dimensional drift's going to get info towards B. By the way, Inspire has that shear up on A main. Hasn't been triggered. So yeah, you just have Envy all around B and mid at the moment.
Paranoia comes through. Wow, and that extends, finds Nismo. And now here comes the battle up top at tower. The offensive barrier orb to block things off as they can dive on in towards site. There's the Rolling Thunder. It affects just one member. It's the one on site, but Poppin from the backside of dirt, able to keep Ian alive. And now, is he able to stand a little bit taller? Cainzera was spamming over towards top tower, could only find one. 3v2 situation. 15 seconds on the clock, and we're trying to wrap. There's not enough time.
T-Dog just doesn't know where to go because Cubert have no control of the map. The Envy players are in the walls. Exter is pushed out of B main to get that kill. And at that point, Cubert Academy, they can feel that Envy side just completely encircling them. They had really no option but to go through B heaven. But even, with that Rolling Thunder, it's only hitting sight. They have to deal with a crossfire with one player in spawn. They know they've lost B main control already to Exter, so they have to deal with someone there. It's just way too much. It's so overwhelming.
I was about to say the same thing. As soon as you lose B main there, that Rolling Thunder barely even gets you onto site. I mean, it's just there was never a moment where Cubert were able to even show any sort of concern to the setup that Envy would put together.
Cubert is still able to get a reasonable buy online, though. 4 rifles plus that Guardian. Poppin doesn't want to hang around too long in vents, considering he got absolutely fried there by Util earlier in the half. He's going to take a shot and get the hell out just in case.
But again, outside of him getting a little bit of contact through mid, we're down to under a minute. And we haven't, okay, now we're going to maybe pop this shear wall. There we go. That will put a little bit more concern over to Envy's direction, not having any information at mid at the same time. This makes this defense feel a little bit more split. But popping on this re-wrap back over from when he initially was playing over into ramps itself, he can still watch that cross, and Kane can just lock things down at ramp. What a huge first blood.
Long have we waited, but the Odin is now going crazy for Kane at the very end of this series.
30
11-11.
seconds left.
Great snake bite. Oh, man. Kill contract does not hit, though.
You will not kill my
Salvo
ally.
comes up towards the top. Regen and Rez is going to be here now for T-Dog, but Inspire walking back up before the Nebula can pop has found the first. Backside elbow! Oh my goodness, Inspire! Absolutely critical eliminations coming through. Poppin knows he's got Redux on the plant. Hopping forward, he'll find the final 2 kills, and Envy will get to series point.
They are just so fast on that flood together. Qbert Academy have really been going slow in a lot of these late rounds. And Envy take full advantage of that. Inspire finding that kill just before the smoke was obscuring his view was so rapid. And then I love the decision for him to just try and get right into elbow. And he's just calling for his team to get in and help. And they sprint back in while Qbert are feeling the pressure of needing to get that spike down last second. That is so confident from Envy in such a high pressure situation. Everything on the line now for Qbert, trying to get into OT or they're going to be eliminated from the playoffs already, which no one thought coming into this. No one thought we would have this matchup in the lower bracket, that one of these teams would be going home already. It is madness.
Could we see some sort of a pop here for Qbert? Last pack already over towards A-Ramp. Kane's was able to forward the operator to try to help on this cross, and Redux has already been tagged. Of course, the health orb is still in place, so he'll get back to at least full HP, but they're forcing the gunfight. It's a pinstripe kill feed. One that favors Envy for now. 3v2, if you want to call it that. Poppin's out at 2 HP.
Yeah, time for Poppin to be the guy who runs in and gets baited.
Oh, if there was ever a moment for Eggster.
Spike planted.
Popping over the top. Scuba holding in the close corner. Eggster will get into elbow. T-Dog pops through. First 2 kills are good. Now it's just down to Ion. 1v2. Will get clearance through elbow past this Cosmic Divide. Does he get the timing on the T-Dog for a freebie? Sure does. Now it's just down to the 1v1. Scuba right there for the snap. Paranoia comes through. Ion resets. Seeing if he can catch Scuba on the exit. Teleport back over the top. Is Ion able to find him? Scuba's still holding tight. Scuba! Oh, just the absolute ice to sit in the corner. Catches Ion trying to manipulate with the teleports up and over and around the Cosmic Divide, and we've got overtime.
There's no way, man. That was so sick from Ion, the pathing there. If he just looked down at Flowers, he was so certain that Scuba, after getting paranoid, would have tucked back around hell, but he just stood his ground. That is so insane. I love that decision from Ion to get up there with the teleport opposite side of the wall so Scuba wouldn't hear him.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, earlier in that 2v3 as well, though, Qbert, they were playing active, taking that double face, finding the kills together. What a banger series between these two teams.
Yes.
Again, this is the kind of series, I mean, we keep saying it, but it's like, this is the kind of banger we expected from these two teams in like the upper final. It's so insane.
Makes this playoff that much more interesting. So here we go. Off the Qbert timeout. Our first taste of overtime in what feels like one of likely many. And wouldn't you know it, Wyatt? Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. Kane's got the Odin out again.
Right into the Odin.
Right into it.
I mean, again, he's been playing well. Poppin has the Odin too. We have the double Odin right now.
What are we talking about?
On attack.
On attack.
We have the double Odin, Redux, Glass Cannon Operator. Okay, we only have the one Odin now. It's just Poppin.
Okay.
Kane's gone back to the rifle. Who's on for a 30 bomb right now, just one away.
Poison Cloud up, Redux. Oh, are you kidding me? That should have been Redux's win every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But it's just a Vandal headshot from Kane Zero before Redux can pull the trigger.
It's so crazy that we saw that exact situation in regular time, but this time, K0 was locked in on that angle, so ready to get that kill.
Wait. Oh, the double tap too strong. Nismo was in a perfect position. And now T-Dog in the corner. Catches the spike carrier. That's a massive elimination, but there's just nowhere to go from there. And you've got Kanzera now with a kill contract on the Knights, wins it, and Envy will take advantage in the first OT.
The win rate of Kanzera in the kill contracts is so absurd. I would love to know what it is in the series. How many has he lost? Just one, I think?
I think just one.
I think just one.
That was when he brought the Odin in it.
Yeah, which was the Odin, which he just bought, by the way, on defense. But and he gets a kill contract in OT, by the way. Finding the opening kill, second onto Nismo when he's got the shield popped. Crosses the line for the 30 bomb. He is just on a totally different level.
Yes. Ion holding close over towards B main, just looking to see if he can catch anyone slipping on this dark cover. Not going to happen, so he will replace it and step into it. He's got a little bit of a walk down, a little pop flash here from Eggster. Dealt with beautifully, though, by Qbert. They're going to have the res. This is going to be a full-on 5v3.
Envy were really hoping that they would not be running into that many players, maybe just isolate one who was trying to insert themselves into the extremity, control it there. Now it requires something heroic.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Kanzera to do it.
I mean, why not both these guys? There's the spray down. There's the spray down. Oh, plus a little bit of vulnerability coming through, but no. Not enough to find anything beyond that. And it looks like the double stack may have been enough to shut down the play through Mail, but now it falls onto Inspire for the 1v3.
And Nismo getting topped off. Heal from
Planted.
Knights coming through as well. What does Inspire opt to do? Wants to just slowly work his way into B main. They have an opportunity to take maybe one duel against Knights if he peeks onto that angle. That's probably the best opportunity he's got to get an opening.
Flash placed. Flashing.
You know, here's the opportunity off the flash. Got to make a move. Not going to happen. Nismo dialed in, locked in, back to level. And overtime, too, coming up. Are we going to get more Odin gameplay?
And popping. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. Redux does not want to op again after what happened on the last round. He's going to go ahead and just pick up the rifle. Kane had a real opportunity to win out the round there. Probably regretting even trying to use the util, honestly. I wishes he just kept the gun out.
Yeah, for real. Oh, fault line first play. Wow, Inspire's very lucky to be alive. Orb can be collected off that barrier. Orb here at mid just to slow down any potential quick wrap in. And that will be map advantage now to Qbert.
There was even a Sage slow lineup from Knights that fell down there, but it was just a second too late. Or would have caught Inspire before he rounded that corner. And they feel like they have a strong chance of just re-clearing P main for free, and they are right.
Shoulder is going to be revealing. Double tap with the contingency wall. Knight is on the site. Actually avoids the undercut initially, but the follow-up from Poppin is enough for the trade. T-Dog still on the site, though. Doesn't get cleared out. And now he's got the fault line to give himself a little bit more until Poppin shuts down the potential disaster play from Qbert's defense. 2v3 on the post plant, unless they decide to try to pop through this immediately, which they're trying for. Viper's Pit earned, but not going to be held. Quick on the follow-up as Redux, and now Qbert takes the advantage here in the second OT.
That was some good pace of Qbert getting back in. Poppin had gotten thrown that spike so he could get the pit in time, but Qbert beat him to the punch. Just takes a little bit too much time for that to activate, to actually spread and cover those angles. Knights getting that first pretty crucial on the drop down off that distraction. Then T-Dog opened up to being able to swing around a back pillar safely, find that second, further delay, get everyone back in position that had rotated to A previously. And now Qbert on match point. Kane Zero, we've gone back to the well. We have the Odin.
Oh boy. That's going to be over towards A-Rams here, but immediate threat for Qbert off the barriers falling is towards B main. Get a little bit of forward pressure in mid, but nothing really worth considering. Poppin's been in and out of that position a couple of different times in the defensive half. So, Envy once again going to feel pretty stable in this setup.
Very passive at the moment. They're getting that good passive info, though, yeah, by Spiral towards A. Comes the hit onto B. Pressure onto Ion. Extra wants to get in. Support with a flash.
Ion's in trouble, though. He does stay alive behind this aftershock. Salvo to try to clear the site, but honestly, that doesn't really land maybe where it's fully intended to. Doesn't make a difference, though. The player's stuck on site. Still have to hold and fight back, and now it's just down to Eggster from inside. Inspire's rotating over. Scuba, though, up top. There's the edge, and now it's just down to Inspire. 1v3 situation, and they know exactly where he's at. The kill's there. The crossfire setup is perfect, and Qbert will take it into overtimes, eliminating Envy in elimination round 2.
Insane that the favorite coming into playoffs, the undefeated team in the regular season that were undefeated overall, had never lost a match until the playoffs, are out into only collecting one win in the lower bracket, bested by one of the other favorites, to be fair, but a Qbert Academy that came in today very well prepared to deal with Envy's play style. You could see how ready they were across all 3 maps to handle them. The way that they were able to deal with Inspire's very proactive lurks when he was on attack. Some excellent flood retakes that they had on Haven, Lotus. Coming into Haven with the comp switch, too, that paid off. They were just so well prepped for today. I think that's what really pushed them over the edge.
You have to have it at this level and at this stage. I mean, we usually say those, you know, with these matchups that happen in like upper bracket finals, grand finals, lower finals, but this happens much earlier, but does not excuse you from being ready to go. And Qbert showing that they can cover all their bases, cross their T's, dot their I's, and an unfortunate early exit for Envy after the recent signing. One of those things that I know Roy's going to be talking about, signing conspiracies and things like that. He tried to do it last week.
I know he's so hyped to be proven right. I know his ego is out of control right now.
Between him and Sierra, hard to say. We'll find out. And actually, I think Dryad was the only one who picked Qbert to win.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's an ego battle when we get back to the desk.
This desk is going to be insufferable.
I'm muting and I'm leaving. I don't even want to listen to it.
Down. I'll be right behind you. We're going to go to a break. We'll have the desk afterwards. We still have one more match, so don't you go anywhere. We still got a full night worth of Valorant coming up after this.
I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.